But that first issue of Spider-Man just grabbed me, like, and because Ditko's Spider-Man, just looked so different and felt so different from the Spider-Mans that I had been reading, for, well, at that point, my entire life. And it's not as though like my 10-year-old brain like really understood like the nuances or like, how to appreciate art. I just knew that there was something weird and different about this. And because of that, like I was just immediately attracted to it. So I ended up seeking out as much of his stuff, whenever I could. So I was like, oh, I have these Speedball comics. Oh, this is the same guy. Like I've got this, that, and this. And so from that point, like, and as I got older and I learned more about it, and learned, actually learned how to collect, Ditko was somebody I immediately gravitated towards. He was the first artist that I really knew their name and, wanted and actively sought out their work. And then I picked up other people along the way, of course, but he was the first guy.
The working title when I was writing it was called Dealing with Ditko. And I go, that sounds negative. And although a lot of people had difficulty working with him, that never happened with me. I never had any difficulty working with Steve, ever. And one of the things I emphasize in the book is that whatever idea came with him, he would accentuate it. He would add to it creatively. He said, well, what about this? Can we do that? Can we add that? And I talked about that in the book. And when the book came out, Mark Ditko wrote a review. And that was one of the things he liked about the book, was the fact that I emphasized the fact that Steve was not just an artist, he was a collaborator.
And he passed away, and I went back to Johnstown because I live in Los Angeles. And my dad and my younger brother, met. And one of the first things that my dad said is, we should do a book called Steve Ditko, the Man, because people didn't know who he was, and we knew that. One of our missions is to actually say who he was as a person. And my dad expanded as a family member, as a brother, as a son, as an uncle, as a friend.
And people call him an enigma because he wasn't an enigma to me. He was one of my friends and we worked together. So to see that perspective from outside the industry, people looking in, it was always kind of funny to me.
The things I've always been interested in with him is the myth versus the man. Getting with the myth that he had retired. No, he didn't. He worked every day, literally until he died.